Hi there, and welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. I'm going to take you through, most of my tanks, and I'm going to show you what I feed them. I do give you a variety of foods that, I don't like to feed the same food day in, day out. And I think it's really important for the health of the fish and definitely for the color. And if you ever hope to breed your fish, you really do have to mix it up. Now, you can go back 3 years, and I've been, singing the praises of Omega One and Northfin. And Northfin right now is out competing Omega One. Uh, Little shameless plug here. Northfin, great Canadian fish food company. And as you can see, I've got lots of samples. Now, I bought the big bag of krill and the big container of bug bites because I swear by the food, and it's a great food. When some I give extreme goldfish or extreme fish food, not extreme goldfish, to my fry, and I also still use Omega One. But I don't know about you folks. Lately, Omega One's been kind of letting me down. Uh, the previous big container like this, and they're not cheap. It had the flakes were just tiny, and a lot of them were stuck together. And the same with the container after that. And I've always sworn by Omega One's quality. I mean, they have excellent ingredients. Salmon, herring, uh, garlic. I could go on and on. It's even got one of the key ingredients, I think, is shrimp. And it is a good quality food, but lately I think they've been scrimping on something because the quality in the flakes aren't there. And I'm going to open up a new container, and I'm hoping that just it was a few knockoffs, that it was just a bad run or something. Nope. I'm still getting this stuff. Now this is a sealed container, and a lot of it is so fine that, well, it's already pre-crushed. So again, this is going to be mainly for my fry. Uh, I've got lots of barb fry and Shubunkin fry, and they're all going to get the same freshwater flakes. They are good quality, but again, the flakes, they've been really letting me down as of late. And if I'm going to pay a premium price, I'm going to get a premium food. And that's why I've been going with Northfin lately. And I've been swearing by it. But the proof is in the pudding. I'm going to show you my tanks, and we'll walk around. I will be going over the ingredients, but I'll also be giving other fish food other than just uh, Northfin or Omega One. Well, let's get started. This has to be one of my favorite tanks. At least the fish. They're my ever hungry Odessa barbs. And I'm going to give them a little mix of kelp because they do need some quality vegetable matter. They're not just a meat eater, they're a true omnivore. And as you can see, they definitely like this. And this is the size of the flake. They're a really big flake, and you can break them up. They're not so tiny that they're, not much good. I'm also going to give them a little bit of community flakes. Now you can see by these flakes, they are much smaller when compared to the kelp size, but still a good size. They're definitely liking that. Now, in order to get the good colors, I do like to give them some pellet food. And normally these guys get krill about once every other day. That really helps with their coloration. I'm going to try the Northfin community pellet. It's a 0.5. And why I'm going to give them a 0.5 is there some smaller fish in here, being some white cloud and mountain minnows. And I need some sinking food because, well, I've got other species in here, such as my melon barbs. They aren't as an aggressive feeder as these Odessas, so I needed some food to sink. And it's a slow sinking fish food that allows my melon barbs to get some before these greedy guts of Odessas get it all. This is a slow sinking food where you're going to get a good chunk of it sink uh, right away, while others will stay at the top for a little bit longer. It's just a little bit better way to feed your fish that everyone is going to get some food. This is my 125, and these guys thrive on some bigger food, and I'm going to be feeding them the size 1 krill. And I've been feeding these for months now. It's a pretty fast sinking food, and the fish are onto it pretty quick. But I'm also going to mix it up, community fish food, being the flake food, simply because the white clouds just don't get it as much. And again, there's a variety. They certainly like it, that's for sure. And being there's at least 4 species of fish in here, it's important to get a variety of food. Now, something that's in here that you don't often see are my bristlenose. I am going to give them some wafers. And to be honest, I've never tried the wafers with Northfin. So I'm really glad they sent me the sample bag. And being that I have 3 in there, I'm going to drop 3 and let that sit. I know they won't go for it for a while, but it'll be in there. And we'll come back to it later, and hopefully we'll see some of the bristlenose on there. Now for my barb fry. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to give them some extreme, which are what they call nice crumbles. They really like that food. And I'm going to give them some nano bites or nano bits. Both have really high protein and are great in texture. With the extreme, you can crush them up pretty simple, and the fish really like them. They're good sized for small fish or fry. As far as the nano bits, I've used these before. They're a little bit harder than extreme, and they tend to sink a little bit faster. So your slower moving fish tend to get it. Where the extreme, it's your basically your alpha type of fry or fish get it first. This is my mishmash tank, where I've got rosy barb adults, rosy barb juveniles, and some very young Shubunkins. I was running out of room for, well, both species, so I really wanted to mix it up. So they will get some of this Omega One flake food because it's pretty small and I didn't even have to crush it up. I said it's pretty small. It's like that's how it's coming out. That's pretty small. That's what I mean. I don't know what they're doing to their process, but well, it's all going to be fry food if it keeps this up, or I just won't be getting it anymore, which is a shame because I've always sworn by Omega One. Because I have goldfish in this one, And Rosies are, well, they really love their plants, even though they haven't devoured all these. I'm going to give them some more of this kelp, and they'll break it down. I'm also going to throw in some sinking pellets for these Shubunkin fry and the smaller rosy barbs. And that again is some nano bits. Again, as you can see, it's sinking. The good thing about mixing up your food is everyone's going to get their fair share of feed. When you just give them one quick blast of one particular feed or food, not all your fish get it. And that's when you run into a bit of a problem. At least I think so. Well, let's go take a look at some of the goldfish tanks and some of the other tanks. As far as this tank goes, I'm going to want to feed them a good mix of, high quality feed because I really want to get their coloration going. I've just fed them some Northfin pellet food. It's a Goldfish premium fish food. It's size 2. It's a very fast sinking pellet. I wish it was a little bit slower. I'm going to mix it up with a bit of community fish food flake just to make sure it gets everything. Now, as far as the ingredients on the goldfish food, its a key ingredient is organic kelp. And people will say, well, why can't you feed your goldfish and your koi the same food? Even though they're cousins, they come from a different species of carp. And goldfish, as in goldfish carp, well, they're more of a vegetarian compared to koi and koi carp, which they require a higher protein. So it's really good that they put the key ingredient as organic kelp, followed by krill, herring meal, sardine meal, spirulina, garlic, clay. So it's got everything that you're going to need. And obviously they're doing well under this fish food, and their colors are holding up just nicely in this. It's a shame I have to move so many of these on, but these are some of my best goldfish, so I want to make sure I give them the best. So I am going to give them some small one size krill. They'll all eat that. And I'll be doing that with the other large tank I have of Shubunkins. You don't need to see me feed them twice. I'll also be giving them the Northfin goldfish food. Again, this is very fast sinking food. I wish it wasn't as fast sinking. I mean, look how fast that hits the bottom. And I know they're bottom feeders, but it's certainly nice to see them, at the top. These are my females, and they get a lot of veggie fish food and with a lot of organic kelp. So once in a while, I really do like to give them some bug bites. Now I've got a great big container of them that I saved. It's got a little bit more size to it than this size 2. And with this, it's got the black soldier fly larva and a very high protein of 46%. And that's really good for the growth. Now, they won't get much of this over the winter, but they certainly love it. I'll definitely enhance what they're getting in the summer with the bug bites. And you can see it's a slower sinking food than their goldfish food. Not all of it falls at once. So You know, I really like it, and obviously so do they. And because I didn't spread the food around, sometimes smaller fish in there just don't get their fair share. So I am going to put a little bit of flake in there. That way, some of my fish that I just added from last year's spawn will get a chance to get some high quality feed. Because the last thing you want is some of your best fish that are up and coming not getting their fair share of food. Like this one here. Really important that he gets some quality food, or she, because I want it to do really well. I've always said feeding your fish high quality fish food yields you high quality fish. And I take really great pride and privilege in my Shubunkins and my Odessa barbs. In fact, all my barbs that I breed. And you know, people often comment on the coloring of my barbs and obviously of my Shubunkins. You know, why do I get such good coloring on them? It's all got to do with their environment and obviously the feed. And with this high protein, we'll get some great growth on these. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say goodbye to most of these Shubunkins, as I'm only going to be keeping a few. I did send out some packages of Northfin samplers to a few of you. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope you will make a comment on a video on how your fish like them. I'm very interested to hear, and I'm sure Northfin would be too. This tank here is one of the hardest tanks for me to actually feed, simply because of the diverse group of fish that are in here. I mean, I do have my barbs, of course. I mean, how can I not have barbs? I've got, you know, full adult gold barbs, and I've got some very young juvenile gold barbs in there, along with some Daniels, and I've got doctor fish, also known as Gara, and they're going to need some more wafer type fish food. So they'll love these wafer discs, and that's premium wafer. And key ingredients again on that is organic kelp, followed by krill. And you'll know that most of the ingredients will never change in this. It's just the order of where they appear on this. These guys here, I'll be actually giving them a little bit of extreme. If I haven't told you, some of the key ingredients in extreme is animal protein, fish, processed grain. So even though fish like it, it's not as good as Northfin or even Omega One as far as the ingredients go. But I like it simply because it's a nice granule, it's a soft granule for small fish to be able to eat. But I'll be giving these guys the community pellet, and it's a little bit slower sinking than the goldfish pellet, that's for sure. It gives all these barbs a chance to get to the food. And especially when you have so many different varieties of fish in your tank, a real big important thing is a different size of the food you're giving them. Even though big fish can eat any size, obviously the small ones can't. I will give them a little bit of flake food, and that's going to be actually this Omega One. I still like the ingredients in Omega One. I just, well, The flake food just isn't what it used to be. I know everyone's doing cutbacks, but I'd rather pay a couple extra dollars to get quality feed. These are some of my Shubunkin fry that I have to sort through yet, and they'll be getting a good mix of both community fish food or community tank food and some Omega One. Again, you notice I really don't have to break that up for a fish this size because it's just so small now. This is also one of my all-time favorite tanks, not just because it has barbs in it. Well, it's got tigers, it's got rubies, it's got cherry barbs, checkered barbs. But everyone has different needs, especially the checkers who hang down low. So they're going to need a fish food that's going to sink and get there before the rubies and the tigers get everything. Giving these a good sample of the community flake fish food. As you can see, the rubies and the tigers are onto it really quick. So I'll drop down some community fish food or pellets from Northfin, and these are both Northfin products. And you can see that the checkers now have a chance of getting some food. I'm also going to have to drop in a couple wafers because there are some bristle nose in this tank as well. Now you're going to say that's a lot of food in there. Actually not. They clear that up in a matter of a couple of minutes. Just dropping down a couple wafers because there are two bristle nose in here. Now they do get cucumber and zucchini. Next, we're going to have to feed some fish that are also difficult to feed because I've got my breeding Odessas where I definitely want quality feed, and I've got some cories in there. This one here, I'm going to give the Odessas some community flake, and that's Northfin. Again, great ingredients is on their flake food as well, which I'll go over at the end. I'm going to drop in some veggie pellets as I want my cories to get to those later. That is if the Odessas don't munch them all up quickly. In another day or so, I'll drop in a wafer for the cories. Well, I hope you enjoyed the mini feeding tour. Now, that's not all my tanks that I've fed, but I don't think you really want to watch me feed every single tank. Now, it is important to know that, yes, Northfin sent me some products to try. Well, I've already tried most of them before, and I love them. There's a few that I hadn't tried up until recently, and one is the tropical sticks. It's a really high protein. It's 43%. That's pretty high for most of my fish. But, for younger fish, I think it would be great, especially if you can get it in a smaller than a 3 millimeter, just for great growth. And I know Northfin produces a fry feed, which I didn't request. I should have. And I'll have to ask them next time, if there is a next time, that if I could try that out, because because of what I breed, and I really like it. Now, as far as the other fish foods, everyone has their own favorite fish food, and there's no going around that. Northfin, it gives you a variety of flake and pellet. They're traditionally known for their pellets, and for the most part, they are sinking. The koi feed, as I demonstrated earlier in a koi video, that it floats. I wish the goldfish food floated. Simply, if when you have your pond, you want to see them rise and come up. In the tanks, it's okay that it sinks, and probably even better that they're not soaking your floor. Uh, Again, the products are great. The ingredients are excellent. I'm just going to go over a couple with you, if that's all right. Obviously, you know I feed my Shubunkins Northfin, and again, that goes over organic kelp, whole Antarctic krill, whole herring meal, whole sardine meal, wheat flour. You know it got all the way to there before they added an ingredient to you know pack it together as a binder. And then spirulina, garlic, clay, vitamins A through B12. Great ingredients. Now let's look at community fish pellets. And if I didn't tell you, this is at 36% protein. Community fish food pellets are at 40% protein, and they'll start right off with whole Antarctic krill meal, followed by herring meal, sardine meal, and then wheat flour, and then organic kelp, spirulina. So great. Now let's compare that to the flake food that they produce. The community tank ingredients are as follows. Now, because it's a flake, you are going to see a quicker ingredient of a binder, but it still starts out as a whole Antarctic krill, followed by whole wheat flour, then more meat products being herring meal and organic kelp, spirulina. The crude protein on this is 40%, so that's a great product. And again, their ingredients don't really change much. It's just the order in which they appear. So I've done the kelp and I've done the krill. I always have sworn by the krill meal, and I bought this big bag because I just liked it that much. And it's 42% protein. That's great for fish that really require it. And it really helps with the coloration and the growth of my barbs, especially in the one behind me, because they just love it. And that's 85% whole Antarctic krill. 85% of this is actually krill, followed by some wheat flour, organic kelp, spirulina, garlic, clay, vitamins A through B12, niacin, cobalt sulfate. It's got and your folic acids. This is why I swear by this food. It really does make the difference on the coloring, as you've seen with my Odessas, my Shubunkin goldfish, and my Aurelius barbs. Uh, it's just that good of a food. And I only bought a size 1 simply because I wanted to be able to feed as many of my species as possible with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I really wasn't trying to make this an infomercial. I just wanted to show you how I feed my fish and why I feed them certain types of food. So I do want to thank Northfin, and I'm sure I'm going to sing their praises because I think they're a great company. They're Canadian, and they were kind enough to send me all this merch. That says a lot in today's society with everyone cutting back. Special thanks going out to Darius, who helped me with that. And at the ending, there is a bit of a blooper. If you don't like foul language, turn it off. So, Mom, turn it off. Chase, take the kids away from the TV. And phones, stands, mics, they just don't work out well for me. Thanks again, everyone. Please hit that like button. Think about subscribing. and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Because I have, for fuck's sakes. Unfortunately, the rest I had to edit out because it was way too vulgar. I think my mom would be looking for a bar soap to wash out my mouth. Anyways, I just wanted to say thanks again for all this great feeds, and for all those people I sent some samples to. I hope you enjoyed them. Hope to hear from you. Take care, and thanks again for watching. We'll see you real soon. Man, this is good quality feed. You guys would love it.